Joining me now is Congresswoman Karen Bass, Democrat of California, and Dana Milbank of the Washington Post. Thank you both for being here.
Looking sharp, Reverend.
Congresswoman, first of all, happy Darwin Day to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
How do you explain Scott Walker?
Well, I will say that Scott Walker was auditioning to run for president, and I think he failed on his first audition. There's no explanation for that, and there's no excuse to dodge such a fundamental question as that.
And there's no contradiction of having faith and science. But Dana, Scott Walker's been kind of the flavor of the week lately in the GOP. But if he can't answer a question on how he feels about evolution, how can he survive a presidential primary?
Yeah, I wonder about that, Reverend. And what is it about every time a Republican goes over to London, they wander down some blind alley and end up in the 19th century? So just a week ago, you had Chris Christie disparaging vaccination when he was over in Britain, and now you've got this on evolution. I would say that at the rate that Republicans are evolving right now, I think you'll see a blue hydrangea evolve into a bald eagle before you're going to see this party evolve into a modern political party.
Well, Congresswoman, talking about how the GOP is evolving, what would you like to see your Republican colleagues evolve on?
Well, I could go down a long list, but we do have to acknowledge that they are consistent, because they also don't believe in global warming because there's a lot of snow in Boston. They haven't evolved when it comes to the question of women's health, and some people believe that women have magical powers. So I think we see this consistently. And then what they're doing here in Congress, we voted for the 56th time to repeal Obamacare, so we really could call this the cut and paste Congress. We are literally doing the exact same thing we did last session, and we're just repeating it this session. It's a ritual that we have to do every few months. I guess that's the way they satisfy their base.
Dana, another thing Republicans haven't evolved on is funding the government. The Department of Homeland Security could be headed for a shutdown because Republicans keep passing bills that defund the president's executive action on immigration, and Democrats won't vote for them. Here's Senator Ted Cruz on the situation today.
We are in a time of growing threats at home and abroad. And for Senate Democrats in a partisan vote to filibuster funding for the Department of Homeland Security is both reckless and irresponsible. The answer is for Senate Democrats not to be obstructionists.
But the Hill reports one senior GOP senator whispered to the Hill reporter, quote, "Of course Republicans will get blamed for a shutdown." So if there's a shutdown in Homeland Security, who will get the blame, Dana?
Well, of course, the Congress, which is controlled by Republicans, is going to get the blame for this. And you can hear people already complaining privately, Republicans complaining privately, that Ted Cruz has done this to them again. Look, since taking over Congress, a month or so ago, they've been slipping on one banana peel after another, whether it's been with abortion, whether it's been with immigration, the Keystone Pipeline, and now this Homeland Security thing that Ted Cruz served up. And they, just as he did to them in the fall of 2013, they seem to have no way out of this thing other than climbing down in humiliation or forcing a shutdown that they're bound to lose.
Congresswoman, I heard you kind of making noise. You want to weigh in on that same question?
I certainly do, because just think of the irony. You have the Republicans who want to go to war. The president has asked for the authorization of use of force. He really wants to have it tailored and have it narrowed. The Republicans want it to be more expanded, but yet they're not going to fund the homeland. So we will be prepared to have a war, but yet TSA and the other things that we need to protect our own country here, that's what they're holding up. You can't say that the Democrats are responsible for a shutdown if it happens. They control everything now. They control the Senate, they control the House. The whole enchilada is in their lap.
You know, Dana, the Republicans are all criticizing the president's request authorizing a military action against ISIL, as you said. But listen to this from the crew over at Fox.
But it seems as though it comes with a ton of restrictions, restricting the warfighting discretion of the president there. Specific limits seem to be put in the language of this agreement here on ground troops. A limited time, really saying that this is going to be done in 3 years. What does it say to the enemy? Pretty much outlining all the things we won't do.
Tell us what we're going to do and stop telling us what we're not going to do. It seems like the president's caught up in 2008. He's not George Bush. He wants to tell us every other day.
Well, and tell the enemy every day how long they need to just wait us out.
I mean, the president doesn't want endless war. How can they criticize that, Dana?
But think about the hypocrisy here. Like every other day you tune into Fox and Friends and they'd be calling the president a dictator who's seizing power. So here he's come forward with a narrow force resolution that's asking Congress to limit his powers and saying, oh no, we want to give him way more power than he wants to accept here. So basically whatever this president is proposing, they're opposed to it regardless of what the merits
But Congresswoman, some Republicans are going even further than that. One member said he's not sure he should vote for the military authorization because the president might help ISIS. Listen to this. Listen to this.
We have a commander-in-chief who seems not only not ready, not unwilling, but really working collaboratively with what I would say is the enemy of freedom and of individual freedom and liberty and Western civilization and modernity. And in that context, how do you vote to give this commander-in-chief the authority and the power to take action? He actually might use it to further their cause and what seems to be his cause and just drag you as a compliciter in it.
Congresswoman, this is outrageous. The president working with the enemy? I mean, how can a sitting member of Congress get away with this?
I mean, that was so garbled, I'm not sure what they were saying. But I will tell you that, you know, they say that he's overextended his power. He's gone beyond his power. He is coming to Congress asking us to give the authorization. And so now there is a problem with that. So on a daily basis, you can see that it doesn't matter what the president says. They're going to be against it. Even if they were to have written the bill, if he puts his name on it and says he supported it, they will be against it.
Congresswoman Karen Bass and Dana Milbank, thank you both for your time.